And we are back out of our executive session. We are going to go ahead and pick up our agenda where we left off, and that is actually to adopt our agenda. So this evening, we have no public comment on agenda items. We have no executive reports that we are expecting. We do have some items in board matters. We have our consent agenda, and then we have speakers to speak to us on non-agenda items. And then we will finish up with board announcements and adjournment. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Or second? Second?
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll. I'm sorry, is there any additions or questions about the agenda? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ms. Beckerly,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Dr. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Ragland,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes,
Yes.
President Adair,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you. We have no report this evening from the superintendent's office. Is that correct, Dr. Stanford? And we have no report from the internal auditor's office. Is that correct, Mr. O'Connor?
That is correct, President Adair.
Thank you. And we have no report from the treasurer's office this evening. Is that correct, Mr. Treasurer?
Yes, it is. No report.
No report. Okay, we'll hear from you a little bit later. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and move into item 9, which is board matters. We're going to look at item 9.1, the second reading of amendments to board policy. Board Member Brown.
Thank you. Give me one moment. We got to that more quickly than we typically do. There are several policies here offered for their second reading and for adoption this evening. These are all amendments that you've seen before. Let me go through them briefly, one at a time, to make sure you understand what's here. The first pertains to controversial issues. 2240 is the number. The next pertains to 3220, and that's a standards-based teacher evaluation. Then we've got one 3220.03, standards-based licensed support professionals evaluation. Number 3223, standards-based school counselor evaluation. Then we've got 6220, which is on tax budget preparation. And the only changes, for example, in that were to add the CFO designation after the word treasurer in several places. The previous several dealt only with conforming changes to current law. We've got one now on use of credit cards, 6423, which is new. We've got 7450. This pertains to a property inventory. And I believe that's all of them. With that presentation, I will move approval. These are all recommended by our GPA committee.
Thank you. Board Member Brown has made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Board Member Brown, do you have an additional motion?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Ramona.
So, wanted to make an amendment, an amendment on page 6 under Division B to delete member of the CEA bargaining unit and replace with licensed support professional, and delete members and replace with professionals. Go ahead, put them together, Madam President. And then on page 8, under Division B, delete member of the CEA bargaining unit and replace with counselor, and delete members and replace with counselors. And this was so that we could have the same language in both of the documents.
Thank you. Vice President Reyes has made the motion to make the amendment. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there discussion on the amendment? Board Member Brown.
Thank you. I'm not entirely sure, without seeing these on paper, that I'm able to interpret and understand exactly what you're suggesting with these amendments. What I prefer, strongly prefer, is if we could see these on paper before we act on the amendments.
So Board Member Brown, they were actually sent to everyone prior to the meeting, and everyone here has them on paper, so everyone does have them.
I'm sorry, including the suggested amendments that
The
are
language for the amendments. Mhm. And Vice President Reyes, do you want to maybe tell why we offered the amendment?
So that was the email that's going back to Eric, when you, Board Member Brown, when you were talking during the first reading. I sent an email to you. As a
okay,
correct-
is that what
That's
this
what
is?
Yes, sir.
I apologize then.
It's okay.
I didn't realize that's what this was,
And maybe you can't hear me
Yes.
because of my mask.
and that's fine. In that case, I'll support that.
Okay, Dr. Pierce.
So could I just add a point of clarification? So I think instead of saying page, it should say item number. So when the amendment was given, it referenced a page as opposed to the actual item number that corresponds to the amendment. So it's not page 6, it's policy 3220, and it would literally be page 2, item 6 under B is where you're excluding that. So if we could strike out page and put item for your proposed amendment, I think it would make more sense for all of us and properly introduce the amendment as it should be voted on.
That does make sense for clarification. I think the pages refer to the entire omnibus as they're in the attached in board docs, but I do think it's important to reference the exact number. So maybe we can do both.
And I believe, Madam President, I think there was 3220, and then the other one is 3223. I did want to make sure.
0.03.
0.03.
Do you update your motion
Yes, Madam
to
President.
include that? And the second, do you accept those changes to that amendment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Second the motion. Second
Okay.
the amendment to the amendment.
Are there additional comments?
I'm assuming I can get a copy of all of that in writing.
Okay. So we are now voting to make the amendment, not approve the whole thing, just make the amendment to those two parts, okay? Please call the roll.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Dr. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Ragland,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes,
Yes.
President Adair,
Yes,
Ms. Beckerly.
Yes.
The motion to amend is passed.
thank you. We now need a motion to adopt the amended omnibus.
You don't need a motion, Madam President. It's already on the floor. So
Oh,
before
okay.
you is the motion as amended.
Thank you. So we need any discussion now on the rest of it? Seeing
Call the-
none. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Cole.
Nope, no, you're
Oh.
about to do it. I was gonna say
Okay.
call the question.
Go ahead. Call roll, please.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Dr. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Ragland,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes,
Yes.
President Adair,
Yes,
Ms. Beckerly,
yes,
the motion as amended passes.
thank you. Okay, we are now going to move into item 9.2. We are the Ohio School Board Association Friend of Public Education Award nomination. Vice President Reyes.
Thank you, President Dare. I move to nominate Dr. Mashika Roberts of the Columbus Public Health Department for the OSBA Friend of Public Education Award.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion or nice things to say? We do appreciate, obviously, our partnership with Columbus Public Health all throughout COVID. And really, although we have to name one person, we know that it was a team of people who were behind Dr. Roberts in helping and assisting our district with all of our planning efforts. And so we couldn't think of a better outside group to nominate for this award. All right, please call the roll.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Dr. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Ragland,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes,
Yes,
President Adair,
Yes,
Ms. Beckerly,
yes,
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Motion carried.
thank you so much. All right, we will now move to item 9.3. We have the Ohio School Board Association Exemplary School Employee Award. Mr. Cole.
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to nominate Ms. Robin Chapman, who is the Assistant Director of Food Service for Columbus City Schools, for this esteemed award and opportunity. Second.
Thank you. Any discussions or nice words about Ms. Chapman?
Ms. Chapman stepped in at a time, and thank you again, Madam President. Thank you for Ms. Chapman. She stepped in at a time in the district where COVID was certainly at its peak. And in her role there, she really helped guide the efforts in food service to ensure that tens of thousands of meals were distributed during school and after school hours for programs. We just appreciate her work, respect her work, and all that she and so many of the staff in food service have done to keep the district moving forward and to ensure our children have what they need.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. And before we take that role, I believe Ms. Chapman is on the call today, and it is a surprise. So congratulations, Ms. Chapman.
President Adair, board members, thank you so much. This is such a nice honor to be nominated. And I'd like to take the opportunity to say how proud I am of all the work that our food service department did, our employees, all their hard work, all their dedication, the support we got from many, many departments. So thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and call the roll and make it official.
Dr. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Ragland,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes,
thank you, yes.
President Adair,
Yes,
Ms. Beckerly,
Yes,
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Cole.
Yes.
Motion carried.
thank you so much. And congratulations again to you and really helping to lead that team with Joe Brown. I know you stepped in a little bit when he was out. And, you know, when I actually talked to President Carson about this award because we knew we wanted to nominate someone in food service because of the extraordinary work that everyone did really in
Yes.
COVID. And she made the suggestion that it should be you. And so, yeah, and so I think that that's pretty powerful. So thank you so much, Ms. Chapman, for all the work that you've done to lead this team.
Well, thank you. I'm very honored. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. We're going to move it into our consent agenda this evening. Our consent agenda consists of items 11.1 to 24.7. Any board member like to remove an item from the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second,
second,
any items you'd like to discuss? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Ragland,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes,
Yes,
President Adair,
Yes,
Ms. Beckerly,
yes,
Mr. Brown,
Yes, except as to 24.1, on which I vote no.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Dr. Pierce,
Yes, with the exception of 14.1 on which I abstain.
motion carried.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and now move into public comment, and I neglected at the very beginning to explain what we did on the agenda. Did I do something? Oh, you're all staring at me like something happened. Sometimes I mess up, and so it's good to get checked. All right. I forgot to explain at the very beginning what we did about the public comment. And so as the board has been working on board governance and thinking about how we restructure our meeting, we're testing out a few things. And it just happened that we're testing this out in this meeting. And that is really splitting apart the idea of when public comment is given, so that really when people come and speak to us about agenda items, that can be considered up front and in our mind up front as we consider the agenda item. And then those that are not speaking on agenda items are given time at the end of the meeting. This is similar to what City Council does. So we're testing that in this meeting today. And we did have some speakers that were going to talk to us about agenda items, but then the agenda items were removed. So we have them now in this part of the agenda. So thank you for being flexible with us and allowing us to see what's going to kind of work best as we kind of move forward, and be expecting more changes on how our meetings are conducted, which I think we're pretty excited about as a board. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and start our public comments. Before I get started, I do want to remind everyone that everyone has 4 minutes to address the board. And looking at the list of speakers, we have also identified that we know we have some union leadership who is here to speak to us today. And I want to say up front that we appreciate all of you coming and sharing your thoughts with us and taking the time to address the board. We do appreciate the work you do every day and all that you contribute to our district. We know that you've worked so hard and are dedicated employees for our students in our schools that you serve. I also want to remind everyone, including my fellow board members, that we are in negotiations, and legally we are unable to speak about negotiations publicly. And so just be mindful. We all want to make sure we are in full compliance with the law. And so public know that sometimes we might not say anything or respond, but know that we are working hard at the bargaining table, and know that we really want to make sure that we come to mutual beneficial agreement, and that's what negotiation is all about. So we're going to go ahead and proceed with public comment. And for those of our union leaders who have chosen to share some thoughts with us this evening, board members, I just want to remind you of those labor laws that we must follow. Okay, so our first speaker this evening is going to be Donna Ragland. The topic is the 5-year forecast. Action requested. Give taxpayers an idea of what the future holds for Columbus City Schools and our community. Board Member Nichols, do you have Ms. Ragland?
President, there are speakers on the line.
Thank you. Ms. Ragland, you have 4 minutes to address the board. You may begin.
Okay, good afternoon. Well, good evening, President Adair, Deputy Superintendent Dr. Stanford, and members of the school board. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for allowing me to speak as a member of POSI and as a member of the community of the school district that you decide what happens in. My surroundings are important to me, and I hope that you do not choose outsiders to come into our school system from around the country to infiltrate our system in which we live. They have no invested interest in our families, our neighborhoods, and especially my kids, instead of utilizing the benefits that we have at OC. We have invested in relationships. Our membership provides assessment to our schools. You know, the school board must not move forward with any plan that does not include us. We really do care a lot for our community and our kids. OC members are the first line of defense. We are the community and from which we serve. Everyone who was fortunate to be here today and everyone who has not, has lived through that pandemic saw that we need a contingency plan. Our Columbus community has watched youth that have had different ideas about what our democracy means in our society. Our children are not going, we do not want our children out of place. We want our children to be taken care of. We look at these abandoned school buildings in our neighborhood. Anybody else would have just been called a bad landlord. But we need to know, what are you going to do about that? Our taxes, our neighborhood, our kids, they don't need to walk past that and see that every day. And our OC members are the first line of defense. The bus drivers, they assess and report anything that's going on. Our food service managers assess and report anything that's going on. We know our kids by name. We know their parents. They've been part of our community forever. The instructional assistants assess and report. The secretaries assess and report also. All buildings are equipped with OC members. We are the first line of defense. The knowledge and the experience that we provide in our community is much needed. We are the infrastructure for our students. It's like tearing a kid away from its mother. We need to have all our members to have a living wage. We need to be able to provide for our children. So thank you for hearing me today. Hope be strong. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ragland. Are there any clarifying questions from the board? Seeing none, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. Go ahead and move on to the next speaker, who is Ida Jones. Topic, 5-year forecast for CCS. Action, listen and take into consideration what I am asking you to do. You'll wait for Board Liaison Nichols to come back with Ms. Jones.
President Adair, the speaker's on the line.
Thank you so much. Ms. Jones, you have 4 minutes to address the board. You may begin.
Thank you. Good evening, President Adair, Vice President Reyes, Treasurer Bahoric, Internal Auditor Smith, members of the board, and Deputy Superintendent Dr. Stanford. My name is Ida Jones. I'm Vice President for CSEA and President of Local 518, which is Proud Instructional Assistance. I come to you this evening concerned that the 5-year forecast does not ask for much additional staff for assisting in the classroom. Library, peak room, kindergarten room are all areas that my members work in. I did see a request for a few here and there, but most of the requests for additional staff is in the management level. We assist in the day-to-day education of Columbus City school students, and we are only asking for respect for the work that we do. During these past few months, we had to learn Zoom, WebEx, reading emails, and how to set up Google and pull out classes with very little opportunity or training from the district. We've asked several times for a meeting with the academic department to see how and what more we could do to assist. We never got any of those meetings scheduled. It's as if we don't exist in the academic section. Although we do pull out one-on-one work on reading, work on numbers, setting up the follow-up work in the library to match what is going on in the classroom. We help to load and unload buses, supervise lunch and recess duty, cover the office when there is no secretary. We call parents to check on the whereabouts of the students. Tonight, I just name a few of the things that we do. Every child is different, and we love all of them. We just want everyone to know that all of the IAs are deserving and asking for respect that is due to us. We are important to the education of the children. We are not lower than anyone. We stood up during the pandemic and learned how to do our jobs differently. We worked every day with our students. We left middle school and high school assignments to help in the elementary schools. We do and will continue to do all that we can for the children of Columbus City Schools because we all educate our children. Tonight, my ask for the Board of Education is to think of that and to help your leadership team learn we all ask for respect. And I really do not think that that's asking for too much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jones. Are there any clarifying questions from the board? Seeing none, thank you so much for your comments this evening, Ms. Jones. We will go ahead and move on to our next speaker, who is Robert Conley. Topic, 5-year forecast. Action, make us aware of the 5-year forecast for the future. We'll wait for Board Liaison Nichols.
President Dare, the speaker's on the line.
Thank you so much, Mr. Conley. You have 4 minutes to address the board. You may begin.
Good evening, President Adair, Vice President Reyes, Internal Auditor Smith, and members of the board, and Dr. Stanford. I'm speaking as a classified staff member. We would like the board to give strong consideration as to what we do and how we have supported our students in academics and their personal needs during the pandemic time. For example, bringing in internet into our homes, purchasing new programs, and supporting our students in every way, also bringing in Wi-Fi. With this in mind, we look forward to this board giving us a fair and living wage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Conley. Any clarifying questions from the board? Seeing none, we appreciate your comments. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next speaker. The next speaker is Stephanie Wiley. Topic, 5-year forecast. Action, consider looking out for classified jobs.
President Dare, the speaker's on the line.
Thank you so much. Ms. Wiley, you have 4 minutes to address the board. You may begin.
Yeah. Good evening. Hello.
Good evening. You may begin. You have 4 minutes.
Thank you. Hello. My name is Stephanie Wiley. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I've been waiting. I'm so sorry. And First of all, I'd like to say good evening to everyone. And my name is Stephanie Wiley, and I've been a member of Local 336 for 30 years. Local 336 is with Columbus City Schools, bus drivers, child care attendants, and intervention aides. And we represent over 700 people. And I would just like to thank you for allowing me and all of those that have spoke this evening to have the opportunity to come before you tonight. For we know that you all have been busy this evening.
Did she hang up? Is she finished? Okay. Well, we appreciate your comments, Ms. Wiley, since you did disconnect. We can't take any clarifying questions, but we appreciate you talking to us this evening. The next speaker is Carissa Izzo, who is here to talk to us about topic CODA busing for high school students. Action requested, reconsider not using CODA busing for high school students.
President Dare, the speaker's on the line.
Thank you so much. Ms. Izzo, you have 4 minutes to address the board. You may begin.
Thank you. Good evening, President Dare, Vice President Reyes, Treasurer Berhoric, Internal Auditor Smith, members of the board, and Dr. Stanford. As a person who's lived in Chicago, I understand public transportation can provide opportunities for families. However, the city of Columbus lacks the necessary public transportation options. That is why the city of Columbus is working on Northwest and East-West corridor transportation plans. However, these plans are in the infancy stages in the North, Northeast, Southeast, and Airport Eastern transportation plans have not even begun. I would like high school families to have other options than the CODA transportation. Also, families should have been informed about the transportation change before registration for Board Ed closed. I have concerns that the CODA is the only solution to the CCS issues. I would like the board to provide the following data information to CCS families to review. The following data will allow families to make an informed decision. How many families do not live within 1 mile of a CODA stop? How many students will have longer bus rides with CODA? How many students will have a shorter bus ride with CODA? A yellow school bus provides a safe environment for our students. I have some safety concerns. When is the plan to help students learn how to use CODA? Will families be emailed their students' CODA route? The yellow school bus has a protocol for reporting incidences. What happens if there's an incident on a CODA bus? How do students report an incident? How will safety be tracked? Many students will be walking in the dark to a CODA stop, and many students will not be walking on a sidewalk to a CODA stop. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends start times for high school and middle school students should not begin earlier than 8:30 a.m. Could CCS consider taking this opportunity to change times for middle school and high school students, especially if bus times will be longer? For us personally, the closest CODA stop is 3.5 miles away, which is not walkable. My child decided to attend her home school at Centennial High School. If she did choose CODS, I know we would consider pulling her from CODS. What will be the options for families who don't live by CODA? Furthermore, my daughter can walk to Hilliard Davidson High School. Will the district consider working on other districts to allow students in outlying pockets to actually attend schools which are much closer than a CCS school? This would open up more bus transportation. On June 1st meeting, CCS and Dublin worked well on a win-win issue. The CCS provide yellow, does not having CCS provide yellow bus transportation meet our standards for a portrait graduate, whole child focus, equal opportunities for all, and strong learning communities? Will some students not choose to take opportunities at a non-neighborhood school? Will students not attend as many school activities because they have to write CODA? Most importantly, students have students been surveyed about their comfort level with the CODA option. If students are leading the way, they need to have a say in this option. I'd like to make a couple of suggestions to the board. Has the district considered mobilizing families to contact representatives and help with House Bill 110 changes? Can the district develop a plan to help families connect to each other to create a student ride share program at each high school? Can CCS consider offering driver's ed for one semester so students can earn their driver's license quicker? More students possibly could drive themselves to school. Can the district have a larger van inventory? I don't know if van drivers need a CDL license. Having a van drive to the outlying areas would save money on gas versus having a large yellow school bus going to these outlying areas. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I will email you all my talking points. I know this is a lot of questions, but with a full picture, families can make an informed decision and hopefully have more options for transportation. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you so much, Ms. Izzo. You certainly provided a lot of questions. Thank you for emailing those. And also I want to thank you for having some ideas about solutions. We are in a very tough situation right now. And you actually got moved to the non-agenda items because this agenda item was pulled because we have, as a board, still questions and have a lot of things to work through. So we do need a lot of ideas from the community. So I appreciate you coming with solutions and asking tough questions because we are doing the same. Dr. Pierce has a clarifying question.
So thank you so much. And thank you also for your service. You're one of the members that serves on our Region 4 FMP process. You're also a family ambassador, and you've also done tremendous work in helping to train your colleagues to be just effective in our schools. So thank you so much for your continued advocacy. My question then relates to when you're sending that email out, can you send it to the board, but also to the superintendent as well to ensure that everybody has those questions and your ideas?
Yes, definitely. And also I'd like to offer, like, if we want to start a committee, I would be more than willing to get parents together and community members just to run by different ideas and maybe try to do a community transportation share board so we can carpool together.
I love it. You are such the engaged parent and supporter of the district that while your plate flow and runneth over with activities, you are yet volunteering yourself again. So for your family, I'm going to say, let's see if we can find some other people that can help champion and advocate for this issue with, of course, you brought so much to us, but we want to make sure that we don't burn you out as well as other volunteers that do so much to help the district. So again, thank you so much. Thank you for your ideas and your offer to help.
Thank you, Dr. Pierce. Any other clarifying questions? Thank you so much, Ms. Izzo.
Thank you. I appreciate the board. Have a great night. Take care.
Okay, our next speaker will be Daisy Slaughter. Topic: 5-year forecast. Action: continue supporting the work OPSI members contribute to the district.
President Dare, the speaker's on the line.
Thank you so much. Ms. Slaughter, you have 4 minutes to address the board. You may begin.
Good afternoon, President Adair, Vice President Reyes, board members of the board, and Deputy Superintendent Dr. Stanford. My name is Daisy Slaughter. I'm a 25-year veteran secretary with Columbus City Schools. The work that I do for Columbus City Schools is in the trenches. We are delivering the best possible support, helping the district to carry out its district goals and plans for the district. And like myself, many other of the support staff, we live, work, and send our most precious babies to you all for your support in educating and prepping them for the future. Respectfully, I ask you to respect the work that we do as we support you in educating our children. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Ms. Slaughter. Are there any clarifying questions? Seeing none, we appreciate you taking the time to address the board this evening. Our next speaker will be Gary Wycliffe. Topic, 5-year forecast, action, hear me out about the 5-year forecast.
President Dare, the speaker's on the line.
Thank you so much. Mr. Wycliffe, you have 4 minutes to address the board. You may begin.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you, President Adair, Vice President Reyes, the internal auditor, treasurer, board members, and Dr. Dixon. Thank you for taking my call. And I just wanted to make a comment about the 5-year forecast. And my comment is, my hope is that the board will make sure that all those who continue to make our district strong, our bus drivers, our truck drivers, our custodians, our food service suppliers, our food service peak servers, our secretaries, painters, electricians. My hope and prayer is that we will, in moving forward, that we will take them into consideration as we're moving forward to continue to make our district strong. And with the knowledge that they are the linchpin for making our district strong. I do appreciate you giving me this opportunity to make my comment. I pray that you have a pleasant evening and think about the things that I have just asked you about. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much for sharing your comments with us. Are there any clarifying questions? Seeing none, we appreciate you sharing that feedback. We will move on to our next speaker, Derek Fields. Topic, personnel and 5-year forecast. Action requested. I would like the board to give a clear picture of the forthcoming plan. Well, Liaison Nichols is having a tough time reaching the next speaker. She's going to try one more time to put the call through, and then she'll come in and let us know what happened.
President Dare, I was unable to get Mr. Fields on the line.
Okay, well, perhaps Mr. Fields can submit his comments in writing to us. So we will go ahead and move on to our last speaker of the evening, which is Lois Carson, here to talk about personnel and 5-year forecast, action requested, respect the work we do.
President Dare, the speaker is on the line.
Thank you so much. President Carson, you have 4 minutes to address the board. You may begin.
Good evening, President Adair, Vice President Reyes, and Columbus City School Board members, and Deputy Superintendent Dr. John Stanford, and Treasurer. This evening, I would like to take a moment to talk to you about our OPSI members. OPSI members do critical work every day to keep our schools operating. Our work can go unnoticed, but without our contributions, our schools don't operate. We are the first people students see every day and the last they set eyes on. We get kids to school safely. We feed them breakfast. We have the classroom, hallways, offices, and workspace ready to go, clean and sanitized. We tend to the needs of our students all day, and then we make sure our buildings are ready to reopen the next day, and we do it all over again. So it's important is the work that we do, that the Ohio Department of Education has even launched a campaign, I Educate Ohio, to recognize the valuable work non-teaching school employees do to educate our children and support our families. We believe in Columbus City Schools. We live in the district. We pay taxes here. We have a long history of partnership with the district. Many of us are long-term employees, committed to our students and families for generations. I too graduated from Columbus City Schools. My kids went through Columbus City Schools. My grandson is currently attending Columbus City Schools. This is my community, and I've been proud to work for this district for 33 years. And after decades of service, my work isn't valued, and I'm not valued as a dedicated employee. That really stings. We are just asking the Board of Education to treat us fairly as we take care of tens of thousands of students who count on us every day. I saw this quote on social media the other day, and I thought it was so appropriate for the way the district makes us feel. Some of us need to remember that one day that title, position, rank will come off. Do not think of yourself more highly than you ought to. Always treat others with respect. From dust you came, and to dust you shall return. Learn to stay humble and treat us as you would like to be treated, with respect and dignity. On behalf of the 3,000 plus OPSI members that I represent in Columbus City Schools, I am asking the board tonight to really start to have real dialogue about respecting and appreciating the work that over 3,000 plus members give to Columbus City Schools. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, President Carson. Are there any clarifying questions? Seeing none, we thank all of our public speakers this evening. I do want to say a few words just to our valuable union members. I think that you've heard this board speak a lot about the importance of having a strong team and recognizing the value that every single employee brings to this district. In fact, it shows up in our strategic plan. The idea around culture and climate is not just for our students, it's for everything. One of the things that I said early on in my presidency and really challenged our superintendent about is this idea of becoming this model of urban education. That also means we have to become a model employer. And these are things that the district is working on through our strategic planning efforts and things that our employees are helping us. We are not a perfect employer, nor will we probably ever be, but we can really work on items of communication and strengthening how we work together. During the pandemic, we know that many of you went above and beyond. We know that you were doing things that were essential to the way that we functioned and to support our children and our families. One thing that this board, the district, the administration felt very, very convicted in was the fact we were not going to lay anyone off. We were not going to take away jobs, and we didn't. You look around at other districts and other situations around this country, and that happened. But we made sure that our staff, that our families were protected in the midst of our pandemic. We also were able to extend the FFCRA benefits to our entire staff beyond the required federal requirements to make sure that our staff could take that COVID leave if needed. And we also were able to increase the pay of our OPSI members by 3% last year. You are valued. And every day we will tell you so. And every day we will continue to work to demonstrate this as your governing body. We are all part of one team. We are all part of one mission. And I appreciate all of your comments tonight, really honing in on that and telling that our kids are first. We have big things to accomplish as a district. We have ginormous plans, and it does take every single one of us to do it. Thank you so much for your dedication to our students, our schools, and our communities, and for having passion in the jobs that you do every day. With that, I will move on to board announcements. Does any member have a board announcement they would like to share this evening? Vice President Reyes.
Thank you, President Dare. I just wanted to take a minute and pass our condolences to the family of Mackenzie Ridley. Many are not aware, she is the niece of a former board member and current employee of the district. But additionally, she was one of our students as a person that spoke at Northland High School. It's just disheartening that we are in this situation when another one of our children has been impacted by the violence in our streets. So I wanted to take a moment for us to recognize, acknowledge her, and provide our sympathies to her mom, her family, and especially those within our district for losing a shining star. If you have not had an opportunity to read about her, please do so. Our community is not going to have the opportunity to continue to receive the joy and the light that Ms. Mackenzie Ridley provided to the Columbus community.
Thank you for that. Other comments or announcements by board members? Okay, seeing none, let me just remind everyone that we do not have any board business meetings in July. We are looking to schedule a retreat for the board to talk more about board governance. So that will be upcoming, but we'll be back in August for our board meeting, our business board meeting. So thank you all so much for tuning in to this evening's meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
To adjourn.
Uh,
Second.
Did you get that?
I
No.
I heard.
I think it was, we'll go
Board
with,
Member Brown and then Board Member Cole came through
That's-
loud and clear.
that's what I heard too. Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Call the roll, please.
Vice President Reyes,
Yes.
President Adair,
Yes.
Ms. Beckerly,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Dr. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Ragland,
Yes.
and that motion carried.
Thank you so much and have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you all. Good meeting.